All right. Interesting. Give me 1 second here. Having some trouble with the live on Instagram. Um, all right. Weird. Sorry for this first 30 seconds here. I'm just going to try the Instagram live again one more time. So, anybody watching the first minute here, skip ahead a minute, 2 minutes, and then we'll get into it. We're going to try this one more time. All right. Apparently, the Instagram Live is not working today, but we're going to get going into this. So, anybody who was watching right through that first minute, I apologize in advance. But today, we're going to be talking about 3 things you need to stop doing if you want to level up your athletic career. So, 3 things you need to stop doing if you want to level up your athletic career. So, the first thing is going to be missing training sessions. The second thing is going to be letting yourself go because it's the weekend. And number 3 is going to be focusing on what is outside of your control. So, first off, we're going to be talking about missing training sessions. But as you guys tune in, if you're tuning in right now, drop me a comment, let me know how your day is going, let me know what you've been up to, let me know if you've got any wins so far this week, anything that's been going well for you. And if you're watching this on the replay, same thing. If you're tuning in at any time, let me know what's going on with you, how the day is going, any wins to start off the week, anything that's going well for you. And we're going to get into talking about 3 things you need to stop doing to level up your career in sport. If you want to level up your career in sport. Sorry, a little bit distracted with the Instagram live not working well for me today. I don't know what's going on with that, but hopefully we'll get it figured out. Either way, the first thing that you need to stop doing if you want to level up your career in sport is missing training sessions. And this one I'm going to contradict immediately as I say it, but when I say missing training sessions, I full well understand that there are some times, and I full well believe there are some times that missing training sessions is definitely okay. But for the most part, this is going to be something that's very, very important to stop doing if you want to level up your career in sport. So, when is it okay? First off, there are times where you have been training so hard, you have been working so much that your body is simply too beat up to train effectively. If you're a combat sports athlete, as an example, and extending your arm out in front of your body like this is painful because you're so sore from all the training you've been doing, that's probably a good indication that going to hit pads today and throw a bunch of punches is not going to be the most effective use of your time. However, it's important to make sure you're auditing that versus, am I just tired and don't feel like training today? Or is it going to actually be the right move for me not to train today? And then another one, I want to bring up an example that happened with an athlete that I work with this week. He texted me telling me that, hey, coach, I'm really sorry, but I'm going to be late getting my training sessions in. Didn't even say I won't get them in because he found out that his grandfather passed away and he was on his way to Saskatchewan to go to the funeral. And this is one of those moments where, I'm a firm believer that life is bigger than sport. I understand that to succeed as an athlete, you need to work hard. You need to be able to push through adversity. You need to do all of these things. But when a member of your family passes away, it is absolutely okay to say, hey, you know what? Training is on the back burner this week. I'm going to focus on being with my family. And any coach who tells you that that's not okay, get the fuck away from that coach. That is not a person you want to be associating with. Yes, you do need to work hard. Yes, you can't let it cripple you forever and never train again if you want to succeed as an athlete. But take the time you need to heal. That is a difficult, traumatic experience. And putting your sport on the back burner for that week is absolutely the right thing to do. You need to take care of your mental health as well and make sure that you're able to proceed in a better way from dealing with something traumatic like that. So, right off the bat, missing training sessions is something that you need to stop doing. But obviously, in cases like something like this, that is definitely okay to put training on the back burner and focus on the things you need to focus on to get your head right, to get back to what you need to be doing. And then then let's get into when it's not okay. So if you are telling me that you want to be a professional athlete, if you were talking about how you want to succeed in your sport, and you're skipping a Sunday training session because you went too hard Saturday night, how badly do you really want to be a professional athlete? If you're getting so drunk or so messed up on Saturday night that you can't make it to training on Sunday, or Friday night and you can't make it to training on Saturday, where are your priorities at? Are your priorities going out and getting drunk with the boys, or are your priorities truly where you say they are, which is being a high level athlete? And the same thing, I see this happen a lot where an athlete will text me last minute and say, "Hey, I can't make it. Something came up." And then they just skip their training session. And again, I understand that maybe you can't come train at your regularly scheduled time, but how important is that training session to you? How important is that practice to you if you're just skipping it? You know, if you send a message and something very important came up and you let your coach know what's going on, what are you able to do? How are you able to remedy the situation, fix the problem, train later, train earlier to make sure that you're still prioritizing the training you need to prioritize? And obviously, there are going to be urgent times that, something came up and you have to deal with it immediately. But again, you've got to still make sure that you're doing what you can to get that session in if over the long term you want to be successful. Another really common one that, again, I've heard a lot, and I know other coaches out there have heard too, is people not being able to train just because they're busy. You know, I hate to break it to you, but as you move up levels, as you start playing higher and higher level sport, you don't get less busy. But if you're not training, you're going to drop off. So if you're busy and you're missing training sessions because you've got schoolwork, you've got overtime at work, you've got whatever else it is that you have going on in your day, you need to find a way to get that training in anyways. Maybe it's training at different times. Maybe it's talking to your boss and saying, "Hey, on Tuesdays, I need to be out by 5 o'clock." Sometimes they're understanding. Obviously, sometimes they aren't. Maybe it's making better use of your weekends, getting more rest on the weekends so that you can get up a little earlier in the morning during the week and get your training sessions in the morning. Well, whatever it is that you can do, whatever it is that you're able to change or adapt and schedule in to make sure that you're getting the training you need in, is going to only help you be more successful long term. Another example that came up recently with an athlete of mine, they were unable to come to their regular training time. So instead of just saying, "Hey, coach, can't make it to training," instead, they booked time off of work in the middle of the day to come train so that they could do whatever that was they had to do after work that day. So again, now this athlete, instead of saying, "Oh, well, I'm busy at the time I usually train, so I just won't train," they figured out a way to make sure that they're not losing out on that training session, and they're continuing to push themselves forward, continuing to take steps towards the goals that they've set for themselves, despite something coming up in the schedule. And I understand this isn't always easy to do. This is something that I myself struggled with for a very, very long time, with business related things, with training, everything. Scheduling and organization, for anybody who knows me well, is not something that comes naturally to me. And it's still something I'm working really hard at to improve. But as my vision for my coaching business becomes clearer, as my vision for everything I want to do in my life becomes clearer, prioritizing those non-negotiables is becoming easier and easier and easier, and making sure that either I'm getting up earlier so I can get things done, or I'm working a little bit later so I can get things done, or I'm catching myself in those mindless activities during the day, like scrolling on my phone, to make sure that my priorities come first and all the leisure and time wasting activities and stuff like that either are eliminated completely or come second. So when it comes to skipping training sessions, I hope that's clear. This is not me saying no matter what comes up in your life, you absolutely have to make it at the exact same time every day, no matter what. Things come up, life gets in the way. I understand that. But remember your priority. Remember what it is you say you're here to accomplish. And if you can't make it to a training session, if something's come up and you're busy and that day is not going to work, instead of saying, "Well, I can't train today," how do you get it in anyways? How do you make sure that even if it's not at the same time, even if it's not at the same place, you're still able to get that training session in. You're still able to take that step forwards towards the goals you've set for yourself that you say are so important to you, even if things come up in life, because things are not going to stop coming up. If you're a professional athlete, you're not going to magically have nothing difficult come up in your life that gets in the way of training or sport. But there's going to be no one there saying, oh, poor you, okay, go deal with that. And we'll see you, 3 months from now, whenever it's convenient for you to come back to the gym. You're just cut. You're just done. So make sure that you're doing what you can to make sure you're getting those training sessions in, and you're working around these things instead of just sacrificing training because something's come up in your life. Now, number 2 is letting yourself go because it's the weekend. I see so many people, and like I used to be very guilty of this as well. So many people that, well, it's the weekend, so I'll just put that off till Monday. Or people are going out every Friday, Saturday night, drinking, getting hammered. And trust me, I say this from experience. Anybody who knows me well knows I've gone out and had my fair share of good times over the years too. But again, as the goals and as the vision become clearer, as I'm more confident knowing exactly what I want to achieve in my own career, that's gone by the wayside. That's not something that I prioritize anymore. That's not something that I enjoy anymore, for that exact reason that I'm not just losing that Friday night or that Saturday night. I'm likely losing most of the next day. Even if I could show up to the gym, I'm not showing up to the gym in a state that's actually going to allow me to put a good day of coaching forward. And as a result, I'm not pushing myself forward to what I want to achieve in my career. So letting yourself go for the weekend is something that just has to stop. And I understand you need time to relax. I understand you need a little bit of time off. You've got a lot going on during your week. You're training really hard. You're working. You're doing what you need to do to get by, and you need a little bit of time to relax. That's fair. But think about how you're spending that time. If you're out at a party or some sort of event on Saturday night, and you train on Sunday, or you're out at some sort of event on Friday night and you train on Saturday, well, instead of having 12 drinks, getting drunk, and staying out till 4:30 in the morning to try to drag yourself out of bed in time to train, have a drink or 2 drinks and get home by midnight so that you can get a decent night's sleep and be ready to train. You don't have to go out and have 10 drinks to have fun. It took me a while to understand that too, but you do not have to go out and have 10 drinks for you to be able to have fun. And if you have goals you're trying to accomplish, if you have things you want to do in your life, this is taking away from that. And if you feel like you do need to go out and have 10 drinks in order to have a good time, that's a whole different type of problem that you need to address. But if you have goals you're trying to accomplish, if you have things you're trying to do in your life, you need to be able to prioritize those things. And this doesn't mean don't go to the party. This doesn't mean don't go out Friday night, but get home early. Get the good night's sleep you need. Don't get hammered. Have a drink or 2. Enjoy yourself, and then get home, get the rest you need, and get up and be ready to train tomorrow. If you say you want to be a professional athlete, but you're skipping training sessions, or you're coming in barely with your eyes barely open because you're so hungover from the night before, how can you honestly look someone in the eye and say, I want to be a professional athlete one day, when drinking is a higher priority than training? And again, this isn't to say never drink. This isn't to say never go out and have fun. But think about what I just said. If drinking is a higher priority than a training session, how are you going to turn around and say that you truly want to achieve greatness in your sport? So again, you need time to relax. That's okay. That's understandable. But you need to be able to keep those priorities top of mind. You need to be able to be doing those non-negotiable things every day that are going to push you closer to that goal, if that goal is truly important to you. Okay. And one analogy, I heard this earlier this morning in my business coaching course, which was, it hit me like a ton of bricks. If you're a hockey player, imagine that the NHL team you dream of playing for was following you around with a camera for a week, deciding whether or not to sign you to a contract. This past weekend, the NHL team that you dream of playing for was following you around with a camera, and they were going to be able to see exactly how you spent your past weekend. Are they going to sign you to that contract? Or are they going to laugh and go find someone who takes this more seriously? And sometimes that's a difficult thing to face. I know even this morning when I was asked that question, I sat there and I thought, damn, maybe I do watch a little too much TV. Maybe I don't get to bed when I know I should be getting to bed. Maybe there are still things that I could improve on quite a lot if I want to achieve all the things that I say I want to achieve in my coaching career. So ask yourself that. Or I work with a lot of combat athletes. Guys, if you're watching this, think about this. The man or woman in charge of signing you to your UFC contract gets to see everything you did this past weekend. Are they going to sign you to that UFC contract? Or are they going to go next door and find the other athlete that has the same skill set as you that takes the sport more seriously? Let me know what you think. And I know that was a big awakening for me. So if you're listening to this and you're kind of taken aback and you're wondering like, oh shit, maybe I'm not spending my weekend in the best way. Good. That's something to change. That's something to work on. That's something you can implement right now that can help you move forward closer to those goals that you've set for yourself that you say are so important to you tomorrow. All right. So again, I want to reiterate from that second point. I'm not telling you you can never go have fun. I'm not telling you you need to live and breathe your sport every hour of every day. We all need time away. We all need breaks. Absolutely. But ask yourself how you're spending them. Imagine that your dream organization gets to see exactly how you spend your day every day. Are they picking you or are they picking someone else? If you ask that question, I'm pretty confident most people out there are gonna have a couple of thoughts about how they're spending their day. And the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to what you need to do to better succeed in sport, what you need to do to level, what you need to stop doing, to level up your athletic career, is you need to stop focusing on what's outside of your control. This one was a big one for me. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this experience in my own coaching career and things that I've experienced personally to do with this. So for the longest time when I started coaching, I was terrified of what other coaches would think of me. I was terrified of putting videos of my athletes out because I was worried, some coach somewhere was going to watch the video and be like, oh, this guy sucks. And then all of a sudden, people weren't going to want to work with me because a video I put out didn't look great. And I stopped trying to put myself out there. I stopped working on trying to basically bring clients in the door because I was so worried that someone might think what I was doing was bad. And the second I was able to cut that noise out, the second I was able to say, it doesn't matter what random people on the internet are thinking about what you're doing. What matters is what you're actually doing. What matters is the results my athletes are getting. If you talk to my athletes, I'm pretty confident for the most part, I would hope with no exceptions, but I'm not full enough of myself to say that there are going to be absolutely no exceptions to this. I would hope if you talk to any of my athletes, they're telling you that they're getting great results and working with me is a positive impact on their career. And for any athletes of mine that are watching this, if you don't feel that way, talk to me and let's fucking fix it. I'm here to help. And I can only help if I know that there's somewhere to help. But anyway, getting back on topic there. Focusing on that stuff that was outside of my control. Someone, sharing one of my videos and being like, oh, look at this idiot, some kind of crap like that, was crippling to me because I wasn't putting myself out there. I wasn't talking to athletes online. I wasn't posting videos of results my athletes were getting because I was so worried that someone would think it was dumb, or I was so worried that someone would think, oh, you got this result? Well, I got a better result. And then somehow that would have an effect on my coaching career. But when I was able to block that out, when I was able to start saying, you know what, who gives a shit what this person thinks of how I'm doing? What matters is actually how I'm doing. What matters is the results I'm getting with my athletes. What matters is that I'm always trying to improve what I was doing yesterday. What matters is that today I'm better than I was yesterday. What matters is tomorrow I'm going to be better than I am today. something amazing happened. I started focusing on the athlete. I started focusing on you. I started focusing on making sure that no matter what problem my athletes face, my focus is helping them through that problem. And when I started focusing just on the product I deliver and putting out the product I deliver and the product I believe in and what I know I can bring to the table, what happened? My business started growing every single month. I have athletes now reaching out to me online asking for advice instead of me having to reach out and, trying not to feel like I'm pitching somebody a program that they don't want. I started believing in myself more. I started realizing that I bring good things to the table. I bring things to the table that athletes need. I have coaches reaching out to me now asking me for advice in their coaching career, which is a surreal thing to me because in my mind, and I mean, I know that I'm still someone that's reaching out to other people. So it's such a cool feeling and such a great feeling. And I appreciate it so much for every athlete and every coach that has ever reached out and asked me questions about coaching. I appreciate that so much because it feels surreal to me. But when I just started focusing on delivering better results, this is what started happening. And I'm currently working with athletes in 4 different countries. And this doesn't happen if I'm not putting things out there. This doesn't happen if I'm worrying about people thinking what I'm doing is stupid and therefore not putting out what I'm doing. So instead of focusing on people's opinions of what I'm doing, I focused on just improving what I'm doing. And so for the same thing for you guys, the same thing for the athletes out there, if you're worried about what someone in the media said about you, or you're worried about, I can't try for something higher level because people are going to think it's unrealistic, or you're worried about, what the guy down the road is doing in his or her training. If you're worried about these things that you can have no effect on, you're going to cripple yourself. You're going to stop yourself from actually improving because you're too focused on what everyone else is doing. If you bring that focus back to yourself, if you bring that focus back to, I'm going to be better tomorrow than I am today. I'm better today than I was yesterday. I'm going to be better the day after tomorrow than I will be tomorrow. The results are going to take care of themselves. You're going to continue to improve. And as you continue to improve, you're going to continue to see the success you need to see to continue to improve in your sport, to continue to move up in levels, and to continue to step forward closer to the goals that you've set for yourself that you say are so important to you. So again, we want to make sure that you're focused only on what you can control. If something's gone wrong in life and that's something that you can't affect, the more time you spend focused on that, you're not spending focused on improvement, focused on things you can have an effect on. So that's the last one for me. And so just for a quick summary, the first thing you need to stop doing if you want to level up your career in sport is missing training sessions. And again, like I said at the start of the video, and I want to reiterate this time and time and time again, like I said at the start of the video, there are definitely times where missing a training session, I am a firm believer, is not only okay, but the right thing to do. That example I gave of the athlete of mine whose grandfather passed away, like when you're going through a difficult thing with family, absolutely, you need to spend time getting your head right. You need to spend time with your family dealing with that tragic event that occurred. When something comes up last minute and something extremely urgent, yes, you do need to go deal with that. I understand. But again, the closer you can stay to the plan, the more you can figure out on how to actually get that training session in instead of just skipping it, the better and better and better you're going to become. So take the time you need to get your head right if you're going through something difficult like that, but make sure you're focused on trying to get back on track as soon as you can. Number 2, letting yourself go because it's the weekend, or letting yourself go, period, really. Imagine that head coach, that general manager, that recruiter, whoever it is that controls whether or not you get a contract with your dream organization, can follow you around for a week and see exactly how you spend your time. Are they going to be happy with what they see? Are they going to sign you to the contract you want or you feel you deserve? Or are they going to laugh and go next door and find the other athlete that has that same high level of skill that you do, that takes their shit more seriously? And finally, stop focusing on what you cannot control. It's a difficult thing to do. This is something that I still struggle with to this day. But again, the clearer and clearer your vision can become, the clearer and clearer you can be on exactly what you're trying to accomplish in your sport, the more you can focus directly on that and shut the noise out. Random people on the internet do not matter. The opinions of those people do not matter. What matters is that you are focused on improving your position from where you are today to make sure that you're better tomorrow, where you are the day after tomorrow to make sure you're better the day after tomorrow than you are tomorrow, to make sure that today you're better than you were yesterday. Those are the things you need to stop doing if you want to level up your career in sport. And those are a couple of things on how to start a couple of things to start implementing to help you in that direction. Now, if you tuned into this on the replay, I appreciate you taking the time to watch it. And please take a minute, drop me a comment, let me know what you took away from it. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook or LinkedIn, make sure that you're going over to the YouTube channel, Coach Do So Conditioning, clicking subscribe there. Follow the page on Facebook. Follow me or send me a message on LinkedIn. And I hope you guys all have an awesome day. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hearing the takeaways. So I hope you have an awesome day. And thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it a lot.